students, welcome to the online session or the subject of structural analysis. This subject of structural analysis is mainly for the student of structural engineering. Basically, in design of any kind of a structure, first of all, analysis is required to be done. If the analysis of the structure is done properly, then the design of the structure can be done properly. So basically, we can say that structural analysis is very important subject for the structural engineering students. So let's start with this important subject of structural analysis. So 3, 2, 1, let's start. Hello students, welcome to our online session. In previous session, we have discussed an overhanging beam with the UDL on the overall span. In this session, we will be discussing the cantilever with a UDL. The beam is total cantilever, there is no support. Okay. It is just projecting out from the fixed support. You can see over here. Okay. So basically, we are going to discuss such different kind of support. So you can see over here, the beam is fixed at point A and it is completely projecting out. There is no support in its projection. Okay. The overall span of the beam is 8 meter. Okay. You can see over here, the first 3 meter it is having the UDL of 40 kilonewton per meter. After that, moving towards point E to D, there is no load, but at point D, we have the concentrated load, the point load of 2 kilonewton. After that, moving towards the point C, there is also again no load. After point C, we have the UDL for 2 meters at intensity of 5 kilonewton per meter. And finally, at the point B, that is the end of the beam, we have the concentrated point load of 10 kilonewton. Okay. So this is what the beam is given to us. So first of all, we need to find the shear force. Okay. So let's find the shear force. Shear force at B will be equal to the 10 kilonewton. Okay. Here there is no support, so we don't need to find the reaction. It will be getting while calculating the shear force. Okay. Whatever the unknowns that is required, we will be getting it while calculating the shear force. So here we have got the point B. At that point, the shear force is in downward direction because there is only the 10 kilonewton concentrated load at point B, that is in downward direction. Downward direction, we are considering it as in negative sign. Okay. So shear force at B will be equal to 10 kilonewton in downward direction. Further, moving towards from point B to point C, we will be having only the UDL of 5 kilonewton per meter for the span of 2 meters. So that is just an addition at point C. Okay. So that will be equal to 10 plus 5 into 2. So finally we are getting the shear force at C equal to 20 kilonewton, and that is in downward direction. So we will be taking the negative sign before the value. Okay. After that, we have to move from point C to point D. Okay. At point D, we have only the loading of 20 kilonewton. So till C, we have got the shear force of 20 kilonewton. But moving towards the point D, at just left, there is nothing because there is no loading. So it will be same. But moving towards the just right of point D, we will be having the point load of 20 kilonewton, and that is also in the downward direction. So basically what we will do, we will be adding the 20 kilonewton to the shear force at C. So at point C, we are getting minus 20 kilonewton. So at D, we will be taking that minus 20 kilonewton and further we will be adding the 20 kilonewton. Okay. That is of the point load. So finally at point D, the shear force that we are getting is minus 20, minus 20. Finally, minus 40 kilonewton. Okay. So that was the shear force at D. Now we have to move from D to E. Moving towards D to E, there is nothing. So it will be constant. So shear force at E will be also constant. That will be equal to minus 40 kilonewton. Now we have to move from E to A. And moving from E to A, we only have one UDL of 40 kilonewton per meter for the span of 3 meter. That is just an addition to it. So at point E, we are getting minus 40 kilonewton. To find the shear force at A, we just have to add the shear force because of this loading into the E. Whatever we have got in E, we just have to add the shear force because of 40 kilonewton per meter. So minus 40 minus 40 into 3. Okay. So minus 40 minus 120. So finally, the shear force that we are getting at A is minus 160 kilonewton. And whatever the shear force value we are getting, it is in downward direction because it is having the negative sign. All are having the negative sign. So the shear force value will be in the downward direction. Now let's draw the shear force. So initially at B, it is means all are negative. So obviously it will be below that center line. Okay. So at point B, it is 10 kilonewton. After that at C, we are getting 20 kilonewton. But from B to C, we are having the UDL of 5 kilonewton per meter. So it will be a slanting. Okay. After that, it is constant till D from just left. Now moving towards the just left to just right, we are having the 20 kilonewton point load. So finally, we are getting the shear force at D equal to 40 kilonewton. Again, the loading is constant. There is no loading from D to E, and from E to A, we are having the UDL. Okay. So UDL, because of this UDL, there will be a slant in the diagram. And finally, we are getting the value of 160 kilonewton. Okay. So this is how we can prepare the shear force diagram for this cantilever beam. Now we need to find the bending moment. So you can see that the beam is overhanging, cantilever beam, and A is fixed and B is free. In the cantilever beam, at the free joint, the bending moment will be 0. So here at point B, the bending moment will be equal to 0. So now what we need is we need to find the bending moment at C. So from B to C, moving towards means considering all the loads from B and reaching to C, we have the concentrated load and the UDL. So we just have to take the moments. So distance of B to C is just 2 meter. Okay. So moment will be equal to 10 into 2 plus, because all the loads are in downward direction, so we just have to add minus sign. It will be there because it is a clockwise sign from the right hand. So 10 into 2 plus 5 into 2 into 2 by 2. So that is basically, I think till now lectures, whatever the sums we have done, I think it is clear that how to take the moment for the UDL. We just have to make this UDL into a concentrated load, and we have to take the lever arm as the center of the span. Right? So yes, so 2 into 2 by 2. So finally, we are getting the bending moment at C equal to 30 kilonewton, and it will be in the negative sign because it is in the clockwise direction from the right hand side of the joint. Now moving towards the point D. So moving towards the D, we are having the bending moment because of the point load, the UDL. Okay. So just we have to make according to the span. So the span from D to B is 1 plus 2, that is 3 meter. We just have to consider that. So because of the 10 kilonewton concentrated load, the moment will be equal to 10 into 3, and it is in downward direction. After that, we have the UDL of 5 kilonewton, and which is only the span of 2 meter, but we have to take it from point D. So, total span will be 3 meter. So, let us see how it is done. So, yes, we have done the bending moment of the point load. Now, it is time for the UDL. So, 5 into 2, okay, we are making it in the, it means we are converting that UDL into the point load. So, 5 into 2 into 2 by 2 plus 1. So, half the distance of that CB plus DC distance. So, this is the final lever arm of the center of the UDL of having 5 intensity kilonewton, 5 kilonewton intensity, and to D. So, finally, by calculating, by addition, by taking all the multiplication, by doing all the calculation, we will be getting the bending moment of 50 kilonewton meter at point B, and it is in downward direction because it is in negative sign. Further, taking the bending moment at E. Okay. So, again we will be moving from the B. So, first of all, we will be taking the bending moment because of 10 kilonewton. Okay. So, 10 into the lever arm, and the lever arm from B to E is 2 plus 1 plus 2, that is 5 meter. So, 10 into 2 is the first moment. After that, we have the UDL of 5 kilonewton. Okay. So, distance of that UDL means from that half the distance of that UDL span to the E will be equal to 2 plus 1 plus 2 by 2, that will be equal to 4 meter. Okay. So, 5 into 2 into 4 will be the moment that is being caused because of the 5 kilonewton per meter. After that, we have the 20 kilonewton load. Okay. So, distance of that 20 kilonewton concentrated load to E point is 2 meter only. So, that moment will be equal to 20 into 2, and all are in downward direction, all are having, all the moments are in a clockwise direction from the right hand side of the joint, and that is considered as a negative sign. Okay. So, yes, this is how we are going to calculate it. So, finally, after doing all the calculations, we will be getting the value of 130 kilonewton meter, and it is in the downward direction. So, it is in designated by the negative sign. After that, at point A, so we have to find the bending moment at point A. So, we have to consider all the loads, and all the loads are in downward direction. So, moments will be in negative sign only. So, let us start with the calculation. So, 10 is the concentrated point load, and its distance from B to A is 8 meter. So, 10 into 8. After that, we have the UDL. So, first of all, we have to consider as a point load. We have to make it as a point load. So, 5 into 2, that is 10 kilonewton is the point load, and the lever arm will be half the span of CB plus 1 plus 2 plus 3. So, finally, we are getting the lever arm from the for the UDL 5 kilonewton per meter equal to 3 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1. So, that was equal to 7. So, 10 into 7. After that, we have the point load at D, that is equal to 20 kilonewton, and its distance from D to A is 5 meter. So, 20 into 5 is the bending moment because of this point load. After that, finally, we have the UDL in span EA. Its span is 3 meter, and intensity is 40 kilonewton per meter. So, we just have to take the moment. So, 40 into 3 into 3 by 2. So, finally, doing all the calculations, after doing all the calculations, we will be getting the bending moment of minus 430 kilonewton meter. Okay. So, this is how we have to prepare the diagram of the bending moment, and we all know that wherever the UDL is there in bending moment diagram, it will be a parabola. Okay, so from B to C we have the UDL, so it will be in parabola, and we have to write the value at C as equal to 30 kilonewton meter. After that there is no UDL, so it will be just an oblique line of 50 kilonewton meter at point D. Again it will be an oblique line, a slanting line at point C, that will be having the value of 130 kilonewton meter, and after that again we are having the UDL of 40 kilonewton meter, and we have to designate it by a parabola, and finally we are getting the value of 430 kilonewton. So yes, this is the thing. So we have done all the examples related to UDL, okay, uniformly distributing load. Now it's time to see the another type of load, that is uniformly varying load. You can see over here the uniformly varying load means it is along the whole span, but its intensity at each section of the span will be different, but the difference will be uniformly varying. So you can see that there is a triangle like structure, and that is nothing but a loading. So this is how the loading will be varying uniformly along the span. Okay, so load will be acting at the centroid of the triangular area. Its centroid location is in such a way that from the larger load, larger intensity part, it will be at a distance of 1/3L, and at the smaller intensity part, means on the right hand side, it will be 2/3L. Okay, so this is how the loading is being done in the uniformly varying. There will be a parabola, the shear force and bending. In shear force also and in bending moment also we will be having the parabola only. So in this way we can find the bending moment for the UVL. Here you can see over here that we have the UVL along the span L. Okay, the intensity of the loading, maximum intensity is W. Okay, and the CG, the centroid, will be at the point D, that is at a distance x. Okay, so in order to find the shear force of the triangular area, that will be equal to half into DE, that is the vertical distance, into DB, that is the horizontal distance. So that will be the shear force at point D, it's at the centroid. Okay, and maximum shear force will be WL/2. Now talking about the bending moment, it is again, it is the force into the lever arm, the perpendicular distance. So the bending moment will be equal to half into DE into DB into DB/3. So finally we are getting the bending moment equal to W into X cube upon 6L. So that will be the bending moment at the centroid of the UVL. And the final bending moment will be equal to WL²/6. Okay. So this is how we have to calculate the shear force and bending moment for the uniformly varying load. Let's keep up to this. The next session we will be discussing an example related to this. So here we are ending our session. Hope you have liked the session. We have discussed each and every topic in brief and also in detail. We have discussed each and every topic's practical application also. So thank you for attending the session, and if you have any kind of a doubt, if you have any kind of a query, then you can send me your doubts and queries in mail. My mail is in my YouTube channel. Do check into my YouTube channel, like it, share it, and again thank you for attending this session. See you in the next session. Thank you.